Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make an alternative Easter lunch. A lot of the time Easter lunch is associated with legs of lamb and so on, which can be a little bit awkward to work with. I just want to be a little bit different, just like I say, as an alternative. So rather than a full leg of lamb, I've got a couple of lamb steaks that I got from my local butcher. These are leg steaks, though I could have got shoulder steaks for cheaper. They just looked a bit fatty when I was looking at them today. So we'll work with lamb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into a kind of little Mediterranean style kebab. So I'm going to chop this into cubes. I'm going to let it marinate overnight. So let's talk through the ingredients. Greek yogurt, not the low fat stuff. This is just regular Greek yogurt. Garlic, salt and pepper, and rosemary from the garden. So all we're going to do is I'm going to use the leaves of this to flavour the meat. I'm going to use the stalk of it to act as a skewer for the kebab. And I've got a couple of good sized ones there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the prep on this. We'll come back and we'll mix up the marinade and show you how to marinate. Okay, and we're back. I'll pick up my mic on. Okay, and we're back. So let's have a look. I've diced the meat up into big, decent chunks. I want them to take a char instead of leaving a little bit pink in the middle. With some chopped rosemary. I've kept the stalk to act as a kebab skewer. There's about 3 cloves of garlic chopped up as much as I could. Quite a bit of black pepper. Got my salt ready to go. My yogurt, and I've also got some oil. This will just help everything stay together. So, a bit of oil first. I'm using rapeseed oil, but I dare say olive oil would work. Then we'll just get our flavours in. Black pepper, garlic. I've used fresh. I mean, you could use garlic if you want, or even powdered. But I've got the garlic here. The rosemary. I'm not sure on the amount of rosemary to use. This is an experiment in its own way. It is quite a strong flavour. And I've got my Greek yogurt. Now, I've had a little taste of this, and I forgot what Greek yogurt tastes like. All I've had for a long time is the low fat stuff, and it's like night and day. Anyway, I want to get in 2 good sized teaspoons, actually a bit more. I can always add more, because I don't want it to be swimming, I want it just to be covered nicely. So, let's get our hands in. Now, I'm hoping for like a Mediterranean flavour from this, like kind of a Greek style. Yes, I've got Greek yogurt in, and rosemary is technically a Mediterranean herb, but it's still just salt, pepper, garlic. So very much things that are available in England. And what I want to do is I think I want to marinate this overnight. That's my plan anyway. Maybe as much as 24 hours. It's well covered. Definitely doesn't need any more yogurt. Yeah. So I'm gonna cook these skewers in a cast iron pan. I could do them under the grill as well. See how we feel. And then we're going to do there's a lot of vegetables out cheap for Easter, potatoes, carrots, and so on. So I'm going to do some of those, like roast potatoes and all that, and then we'll use similar flavors on that, and we'll do another yogurt, like a garlic yogurt sauce, to be like a dipping yogurt. Yeah, obviously you could do gravy if that's what you wanted. So I'm going to put a bit of foil over this, get this in the fridge overnight, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay, so I'll see you then. Hello. So it's about 18 hours later. Now, after I turned my mic off last time, I realised I hadn't put any salt in my marinade, so I did put the salt in. But now, let's get on to it. So now we'll look at what prep we're going to do for the actual meal itself. So let's start with the star of the show, the lamb. Now, they're creamy, doesn't look particularly appetising. Thankfully, we're not going to eat it like that. What we're going to do is use our rosemary stalks as a skewer. So there's no clean way to do this as such. Got to get stuck in there. What we'll do is we'll just hopefully be able to push the stick part through the... Yeah. Excuse me, I just need to remove a cut. Get out. Come on. Come on, out, 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 out. Come on. Joys of live cooking. Alive. You know what I mean. Okay, so all we're going to do is thread it on, piece at a time. I'm only going to do one of these on camera. In reality, I'm going to make as many as I'll go. So I'll be doing at least 2, maybe 3 or 4. So there's actually quite a bit of lamb here. And it goes through dead easy. I think it's been tenderized by the yogurt. I'm not sure. If I'd had some lemon juice, I would have put a drop of that in as well, but I simply don't. Okay. So yeah. So 6 pieces on there. I reckon that's probably what you get in a restaurant. We'll just let that rest for the time being. Now, there's obviously plenty more there. I will do that off camera. I'll do the rest. Now, let's look at what else we're going to do. Potatoes. So we'll simply give these a peel. The skins will go in the compost. It won't be wasted. A bit thin to do anything with. So what I'm going to do with these is I want to do roast potatoes. I'm going to parboil them for 7 to 8 minutes. I reckon 3 per potato. They're a good size. So we'll parboil them. And what we'll then do is roast them off in just oil. Obviously, you can use a meat fat if you have one available. I want to put a seasoning on with about 10-15 minutes to go because I don't want it to burn. Just be salt, black pepper, rosemary, and probably a bit of maybe powdered garlic, just to match the flavours that have gone into the meat. So I'm actually going to do quite a lot of potatoes, because, potatoes. So that's what I'm doing there. When I'm roasting, they'll go in for about 45 minutes. I'm also going to do some carrots and parsnips. Again, I'll parboil them for maybe 10 minutes, just to take the edge off, and I'll finish them in the oven. What I think I'll do is I'll toss them in oil and a little bit of honey to get a little bit of extra sweetness through them. I think that'll go on nice with the yogurt dip I have planned. So I'm thinking decent chunks, baton size. I want them to be dippable. So again, I'll chop up more of those. The parsnips, exactly the same. Again, this will all go in the compost, so it won't be wasted. Guess it'll be people out there who make crisps or something like that. But I'll probably just put salt on as additional seasoning for these. So parsnips, I want them a similar size to the carrots. I think I'll just use the whole top one. I think I might do a bit of cabbage as well. If I do the cabbage, I'll boil it off and then finish off with a little bit of butter. What have I not said? Yep, the potatoes. After I've boiled them for about 8 minutes, I'll drain them. I'll give them a shake and I'll let some more of the liquids evaporate because I want them to go in quite dry. I might put a little bit of flour on just to give them something else for the fat to cling to, and I'll just give them a little bit extra crunch. So I'm going to finish off my prep. We will come back when I think it's an interesting time to come back. Okay, see you soon. Welcome back. I think now's a good time to start on them again. So parboil the potatoes. And hopefully see they've got a little bit of I don't even know the word. It's puffed out a little bit. The fat is in the oven. I'm going to get it out now. While it's hot, yep, we will get these straight in and hopefully be a nice bit of sizzle. That's a disappointing amount of sizzle. Yeah, let's get them in. You don't want to put too many in, because if you do, you can end up steaming everything rather than roasting it. So, let's get them in. Okay, so we're going to get these in the oven. After they've been in about half an hour, I've made this little seasoning mix here, which is rosemary, garlic, salt and pepper. Well, I'll sprinkle that over the top. So I'm going to get them in without further ado. So, next thing I'm going to do on screen is make up our dip for later. So I've diced up and smooshed up some garlic. So into the pan, into the bowl. You do need a spoon. Going to get our mayonnaise in. Nothing, not mayonnaise, our Greek yogurt. And I've also got some chives for colour. These aren't essential. I got them out of the garden. I certainly hope the chives, if not, I'm seasoning them with grass. I'm pretty confident these are chives. Let's see how clean these. I did with the rosemary and everything as well. I'll get that mixed through. Get this mixed up. And then what I'm going to do, while the potatoes are roasting, because they're going to take about 15 minutes, I reckon, I'm going to parboil these and put them into roast as well. I'll bring you back when it's time to do the meat. I think we'll try doing it in the pan, but I may finish it in the oven just for the final few minutes. We'll come back though.
Okay, and here we have the traditional mic issue. So here, so let's need to cut this right down in fairness. So what we've got here is we've got the pan as hot as I reasonably can. Unfortunately, my cast iron wasn't available. I've just got a little bit of oil in there, and we're going to put the meat in and get a nice little sizzle. So that will immediately start browning the sides of the meat. So I'll put in all 3 skewers straight away. Now, I'm just going to leave them, I'm going to cook these for about 6 minutes. I'm going to turn them 2 or 3 times in that 6 minutes. I'm going to go to where it's a bit further on. Things are starting to brown off. Now, because I've cooked the meat a bit longer than cooked the meat a bit bigger than I intended, I'm going to finish this off in the oven for maybe 4 or 5 minutes Nothing major, just to make sure it's reasonably cooked.
Hello and welcome back to our final product. So, we'll talk you through what we've got here. We've got our roast potatoes, which are, hope you can hear that, it was perfect. The seasoning didn't take well to them, seasoning was too wet, so I've just added a bit of salt. So we've got a bit of cabbage that's just been cooked with butter, some well caramelised carrots and parsnip, and of course our meat. So, have a look at the star of the show. I'll get a knife for a cross section. So I'll let this rest a little bit. It is still pink on the inside, very slightly. So it's probably ever so slightly more cooked than I would want, but not ruined. Let's try it. Very tender. So it's lamb meat, leg meat, which is normally quite fatty, but the yogurt's done its job. Let's try a bit without the yogurt. So soft. I've got a knife there. I'm just literally rip it apart. Let's get a bit of a bigger piece out. Let's make sure it's kept its pinkness. Slightly pink, not as great as I would like. But I'm not exactly a cook here. Sorry, I'm not exactly a Michelin star chef. Try these potatoes. Creamy, nice and soft, crunchy on the outside. Don't think anyone could cook dinner like those. Carrots. Tastes like sweet carrots. Parsnip. Hopefully they don't taste soapy, because I also think these taste a bit soapy. No soap taste at all. That's always good. I think boiling them helps take the edge off. Cabbage is slightly buttery cabbage. Nothing wrong with that. So, the star is quite clearly, for me anyway, the lamb with the potato dipped in that garlic yogurt. Fantastic. Now, is it better than a traditional Sunday roast? Debatable, but it's nice for a change. This feels like there was a lot of work involved in this, but there's a lot of work involved in a roast joint, like a whole leg of lamb. And I would have done all the vegetables anyway with the leg of lamb. I do think marinating the meat really goes a long way with cheaper cuts. So I kind of wish I'd got that shoulder meat. But anyway, hopefully that's just give you a bit of an idea what to do with I don't know, just with a seasonal food. Because these potatoes, I think it was 15 pence for the bag. The cabbage, the same. The carrots and the parsnips, I think I paid 4 pence each. So rather than just like boiling them all up or mashing them all up, do something a little bit different. Anyway, if you like my channel, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe, leave us a comment. It means a lot to us. Okay, thanks for joining me. Bye.